In this video, I'm going to go over altcoin season and answer the question, is altcoin season finally here? Every single time we get to about $4,000, the question lies, are we in altcoin season? So in this video, I want to answer that question. I'm also going to go over the market cycle and where I think we are in the market. I could be wrong, but I might be right. So first things first, if we zoom out right here and we just look at the chart, I'll even just clear it out for you so you can just see it like this, right? You can notice something that we are in this huge range between 4,000 and 1,300 for ETH. And we've been in that since 2021. This to me is accumulation. You guys know whenever there is a token that goes in accumulation for a long period of time, the upside is always significantly higher. Now, it also exhausts people because there's two axes on the chart. A wise man told me this once. You can get juked out by the price, but you can also get juked out by the time, right? It's actually a very interesting concept. I'm sure you guys have seen it in the past where you come back to a chart half an hour later and it's fucking sending. That's what it's like because there's two axes to a chart. You can get juked out by time, but you can also get juked out by price. Now, with that being said, as we've been in this accumulation pattern for so long, I do think that the breakout is going to be very aggressive and we're not going to be coming down anytime soon. But the key is, where's the breakout? Now, there are multiple levels to this breakout. Obviously, we have the all-time high of 4,800, but we also do have these downward channels right here as well. And you can plot this for yourself actually very easily. If you look here, all you need to do is you go onto your chart right here. You go into the top left and you'll be able to find channels. I actually think is one of these right here. You want to find parallel channel, this one. You see where it says channels, and then you go to parallel channel. And then what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to make your own channel based on where the price is. And you can see right here, this was the channel that we have been in for a long time for Ethereum. Now we have deviated from that, but remember, whenever we deviate from that, this was like serious bear market. And then once we regained in the channel, we've stayed in there for basically 2 years, right? And one thing I also like to do as well is I'll go over here and I'll change the lines as well to a little bit thinner as well, so it's a little bit easier. So you can see over here, I have my channel and I also have my levels in green as well. What that's allowed me to do is allowed me to spot very clearly where we have broken out. Now, yesterday, on yesterday's stream, a lot of people said to me, well, do you think ETH's going to pull back here? And what did I say? I said, no, ETH's not going to pull back here. This is the stage where we go up only, right? Now, up only doesn't mean like literally up only, but it just means that we're not going to get this where we pull back and it's a perfect short back down to the 50. That was here and that was here and that was here. Like we've tapped this resistance 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. We tapped this resistance before we finally broken out. Right, that's saying something overall. Okay. Now, if we zoom in right here, my next target for ETH is going to be this 2618 level, about $6,000. And if we break that, we're talking about $11,000. I don't think that BlackRock have accumulated this much Ethereum, if we're talking about fundamentals, for the sake of a 50% return on investment, right? They've been accumulating ETH all the way in this range. I don't know where the average order value is, but let's just say, I don't know if it's something like here, that would be 150% return. That's a great return for anybody with multi-billion dollars. It makes sense for that to be a great return. And when ETH gets going, it's probably just going to go up and to the right for a short period of time. This is a signal, but it's also a warning. And it's a warning to those people who are inside of the trenches right now, who are not locked in. This is the time where it's just worth taking a little bit of extra risk, but it's also like manageable risk as well. I'll get into my thesis on where I think meme coins are going and my new style of trading as well. I will get into that. But you'll see right here, the all-time high for ETH, I do think is going to be about $7,000. Now, with that being said, because Ethereum is pumping right now, we need to go over to our agent tab and our agent watch list and go over to this altcoin season tab. You'll see that I've labeled a lot of the major altcoins, things like Hyperliquid, Full Meme, which nobody's talking about, Uniswap, WorldCoin, you talk about Radium, etc. right? All of these coins right now are pumping. All the coins are pumping. You can see Hyperliquid is actually topped out at 2618 level from the early breakout right here and hasn't broke it ever since at 46. We were speaking about this long from down here at about $20. You'll also see Uniswap from yesterday's video when I spoke about long in Uniswap. Uniswap's also breaking out right now, similar to ETH. Target of $16, $17. I'll get into the fundamentals of these trades in a moment, but I just wanted to show you that because all of these tokens are actually pumping, this means that we're going to be seeing BTC dominance fall off the cliff. right? Now I mentioned it's very important to be careful about taking longs here, but taking longs now in this range is probably plus EV, right? Because what BTC dominance likes to do is it likes to come down a bunch and then go up a bunch before coming down a bunch, right? And we've seen this over here. BTC dominance came down a bunch, came up a bunch, and then came down a bunch. We also seen it right here. Came down, up, and then down. Now, why is this important? This is important because whenever BTC dominance is in this area where it's crashing, this is the area where a lot of our leverage trades are going to be in significant profit. Whenever BTC dominance gets to these levels here, this is the point where a lot of longs get caught offside, including myself. I've been caught offside for this plenty of times, right? Plenty of times, which is why I understand that these areas are okay, but these areas are very dangerous, right? Same as these areas over here, okay? So if you're seeing charts right now which look pretty good, they're probably going to stay pretty good. If you're seeing charts right now breakouts, they're probably going to stay breaking out. But once we get to these levels over here, which you can note down on your chart, 58%, 57%, 54%. If you guys actually want, I can share this chart. I'll share it with you inside of the trenches. If you want to join the trenches, put command VIP. That is our community over here. We've got 10,000 members, or 9,300 members in this community. We do leverage trades. We also trade meme coins as well. We trade in Ethereum, Base. I'm recently studying the Jupiter ecosystem. Even though a lot of people got cooked today in the Jupiter ecosystem, I still think it can do well. But these levels are areas which I am specifically looking for. And I do think that with us finally breaking out, if we actually clear up this chart a little bit, make it look a little bit cleaner, okay? With us finally breaking out of this massive range right here, I'll make it orange so you guys can just see it a little bit better. Make it like this, okay? Now we've broken out, it's probably going to start to be a sharp decline. We could finally see 50% for BTC dominance, maybe 53% for BTC dominance. And let me tell you something. To answer the question at the start of this video, this is altcoin season. This is it. It's undeniable. When ETH starts passing all-time highs, when BTC dominance finally rolls off, if we look at the weekly, guys, this is BTC dominance strongest resistance level. So we had here to here, here to here, and now we have here to hopefully here. This is go time for BTC dominance. This is the time where altcoins and altcoin season start to become a thing, and the LARPs start to become very, very real for these dodgy, CEOs that we're seeing out here, right? So they're the targets that I'm looking for, which means trades entered right now are going to be plus EV, in my opinion, in the long term, right? They might get rocky because we could see BTC dominance come down to here, swoop all the way back up to shake everyone out, and then go down, right? Of course, as we kind of seen from these levels here, BTC dominance does like to come up. In fact, we even seen it last week. Last week, we was on the edge of a bear market, right? BTC top was almost in. And all of that was a little rise in a BTC dominance. It rose 3%. Just because BTC dominance rose 3%, we was almost on the edge of the bear market. People were calling it for, WW3. We were saying that there's oil, the nuclear war on the edge of fucking Russia. All these types of things that people were saying. That was a 3% rise. So simply because of that small rise, they're the things you have to be careful of. Which is why I say that taking longs, a lot of people ask me in the leverage lounge chat, where do I take longs from? You take longs from the resistance. You don't take longs from the support. You take longs from the breakout. You don't take longs from the support. You take longs from the resistance. You don't take longs from the support. That's what I think personally anyway. And that's the kind of thing that I'll follow for me. And it's allowed me to just simply be profitable. I don't have to watch these screens a lot. I prefer watching the memes, but I still manage to leverage trading as a barbell for my portfolio, right? Because meme coin trading is expensive. It's expensive. To get 1% of supply of a project at $1 million market cap is 10 grand. 2 million, 20, 330, 440, etc. right? It gets expensive. And when you're on the wrong side of it, like I am right now, you need stuff like this, like you might be yourself, right? To balance out that, because it's going to allow you to survive. And when you survive, you look at what happened with Trump. Look at what happened with Melania. Look at what happened with Jelly, with Vine. Look at what's happening right now with Troll. Look at what happened right now with the fucking party guy in Ibiza or whatever, boss, which, Binance are caballing right now. Guys, if you survive, you're going to fall on top of one of these opportunities. Okay? But you have to learn multiple skills. And if you want to learn how to leverage trade, you can find some videos on my channel. We also just posted a tutorial inside of the community right now as well. You can actually watch this video right here and you can learn it as well. You'll find that inside of the leverage lounge, inside of the trenches, to learn how to leverage trade. And it's really going to help you, especially when we get into the bear market. Guys, meme coins are probably going to be cooked in the bear market, but they're already tougher as they are now. So when people get hungry, it's probably going to be 10 times worse, right? So as we see right here, BTC dominance coming down, my long-term target being 48, short-term being 53. This is the point of control. So this is where we're going to have, we could fully reverse from this level. Like once we get down here, I'm going to leave these lines here. We could probably fully reverse from this level and actually go into a bear market, right? It's highly, highly likely, or at least a scare of a bear market. And then if we go down, we'll probably come down to the support here at 45, 46, right? So the tokens which I'm now looking at for this is going to be the Ethereum ecosystem on leverage. Whenever I leverage trade, I don't look at the random coins which influencers are talking about, right? I want to look at tokens which have good fundamentals as ETH continues to break out here. I want to look at tokens which have good fundamentals. So if we know that Ethereum is breaking out, then we're going to know that the Ethereum ecosystem is going to do well too. And these tokens, they might be undervalued by the market, okay? Similarly, when we knew that Bonk was doing well, we knew that the Bonk ecosystem was going to do well, i.e. useless, etc. Okay. When you know that Pengu is going to do well, you know that the abstract ecosystem is going to do well. When you know that Solana is going to do well, you know that Jupiter is going to do well. And the list goes on for these types of projects. So I think it's mass consensus right now. Ethereum's going to do well. So what I've decided to do is I've gone over to my altcoin season index, and I actually need to spend more time on this and filter through and actually label these. I'd much prefer to have them a little bit organized, like Solana Eco, ETH Eco, layer 1s, layer 2s, etc. But for now, my main focus right now is Uniswap. Now Uniswap, every time we've had major rallies for ETH, so if we go way back, if this feels like a fucking eternity ago, bro, but you see it right here. Every time we've had major rallies for ETH, we've seen up to 200% gains from the lows. And we're seeing that again. So we're down here, you're talking 200% gain from the lows up here. I do think now ETH's actually broke out all-time high. We're talking these levels here because this was ETH's previous resistance. This is ETH breaking out. So imagine this. This was your valuation on an investment when Ethereum was breaking out. So I think if we go to 6th of December and then we go to the 6th of December for ETH right here, this was your valuation right here. It was about, ETH was at $3,000, almost like $4,000, right? ETH's now putting a higher high. If you zoom in, ETH's putting a higher high. But then if you look at ETH Eco being Uni is still 40% cheaper than it was when ETH was last at these levels. That's a discount. I always say this, guys. It's like investing in property. There's a street, and the street has all of these houses, and they're valued at $1 million. And then there's one house at the end of the street, and it's got crackheads in it, smashed windows, and the owner's just sick and tired. He's trying to get rid of it in his portfolio. You know that eventually that property is going to reprice if you just fix a few things. Uniswap's got better. They're making less revenue. No one really uses it yet, but they're going to end up using it because ETH's going to get too expensive. People are going to start looking for Ethereum memes. To trade on those Ethereum memes, you're going to need to use Uniswap. It's super, super simple. Now, that's the leverage trades that I look for, okay? That's the type of mindset that you want to look for when placing a leverage trade, because then you're actually going to have the advantage. Guys, in my opinion, I'll say this a lot, right? I'll use Radium as an example, but it doesn't mean that I don't like Radium. But like, in my opinion, it's hard to have an advantage as a new trader, meaning you haven't been trading for the past 15 years, every day, it's your full-time thing. When you start doing all this shit, and this is where I went wrong in my first cycle, I'm looking at this, I'm like, right, okay, we have a bullish thing down here, it's looking anchor, trigger wave, green dot, okay, it looks like the money flow crossover is coming up to over here, okay, cool. We have the RSI has bottomed out, and we have the, it's like this shit starts looking like this. We have this, and this Jupiter's crossing retrograde. And average this is gonna go to the moon, right? It's very hard to trade like that, right? Without having a specific advantage. These things are great. Of course they are. We use them a lot for our leverage trades. Okay, we use these types of things, the 200-day moving average, the channels. We use all of that stuff. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to be placing a trade leverage without understanding the fundamentals and what I'm actually buying, right? The thing with crypto is niggas will trade a coin, put their, like, they will get cooked on a coin and they've never actually used it, right? I got cooked on, what did I get cooked on? Way back. I'm talking like 4 or 5 years ago now on some gaming coins. Like, but I got cooked on Gala games. I never even played on Gala, right?
What did he say?
Never played on Gala. I had like 80K in Gala. Right? I was like, what the fuck am I doing playing, investing in something which I'm not using, right? So that's what I've realized it helps a lot. It really helped me with, you know, we took a great Jupiter trade over here. I think I sold a lot of resistance down here. Now we're back at support. I might actually re-enter a trade. It's going to help me a lot with Uniswap. Okay. It might help a lot of people with TON. TON is a coin which a lot of people are talking about right now as well. It might help you if you're using TON, if you're bullish on TON, then it just makes sense to have a leverage trade on. I'm not bullish on it at all. Okay. But yeah, those are the types of things that help you on. If you have any charts you guys want me to have a look at, let me know. Meme coin wise, we're going to go over Pump, the Pump ecosystem. Guys, this is one of the best trades that we have done inside of the trenches and on stream so far. Hopefully all of you guys have a Pump position. We had to work for this. We had to grind for this, but it is paid off, right? I have a position in Pump in this range over here. Average entry is about 27 to 26. Now we're already at 34 to 35. So naturally, we're going to see resistance in this level. I mentioned here, this is the value area low of the last range, and that's where we're rejecting from right now. If you guys don't know how to use a value area low and a high, it's this indicator right here. Okay, it's called the fixed range volume profile. Now, what the fixed range volume profile helps you out to do is it will measure the volume. So you know at the bottom, when you normally have the volume at the bottom of the screen, right? You have all of these lines coming up from the bottom. You have like volume, right? This does the volume for a specific range and it puts it sideways. So you know the specific points are where the highest volume of trading activity is. Now, the highest volume of trading activity tends to either be a major support or resistance. And it also works for the older ranges as well. And as we've seen with this older range, which we mapped out, which we mapped out, right? Way back here. Guys, there was no chart down here. There was no chart. We mapped this out magically. Who would have thought that's the resistance, the first major resistance? And this was the point where all the news is coming out as well, which is funny, right? This was the point where they announced the investment fund. This was the point where they announced the buybacks, even though we're tracking the buybacks all the way from down here. This is the point where Elon started tweeting, yet the chart is the chart and we're at resistance, right? The chart is the chart and we're at the resistance. So a lot of people would have got themselves wrecked right there on 10x leverage, 20x leverage, FOMOing into the news. We're already well positioned. I'm just going to continue DCAing this. Every few days, I put $1,000, $2,000 more into Pump, and I rotated some of my Pump as well to try and make more, to put it more into Pump. Because at the end of the day, everybody's trading meme coins right now. That's going back into Pump. It's basically like fucking hyperliquid, right? Yesterday, they brought back like 1.4 million. So Pump Fund's the coin, bro. At the end of the day, Pump Fund, in my opinion, is the coin to be looking out for the long term, right? And if you're talking about long term, where my long term targets for Pump still remains the same right here, about 0.14. From here, I think that's 350%. Yeah, it's about 338% for my long term targets for Pump. And in terms of take profit levels, I'll be taking profits on my spot position at the value area high, because that's going to be a serious resistance. And then if we break the value area high, then we're talking the 618. And then obviously after the 618, we're talking the 2618. Reason I'll be taking profits on this, I'll say, well, why don't you have so much conviction? Why would you not hold for long haul? Because when we look at tokens like WAITLIST, for example, right? If you look at larger trades, I'll get into other tokens like Uranus, etc. But if we look at these larger trades right here, even if, right, you was trading WAITLIST and you had a lot of conviction, bear in mind that I completely faded. I had 1% supply of WAITLIST. That's probably going to be my bear market trauma, right? And then it broke all-time high. If you took, right, 50% profits, once it broke all-time high, you would still be sat on a bag, right? You got another 6x on your moon bag. What if it came down 50% before it ran? What if, right? Then you'd have less emotions and you could actually DCA in more. Okay, let's have a look, you know, even Altcoin, right? There are a lot of people who have full ported Altcoin, etc., right? But if you looked at this for Altcoin, I'll get rid of this. And if you looked at the resistance and said, wait, we're back at this resistance level. It's a major resistance level. Maybe I should take some profits here, right? Secured some profits. Then when Altcoin comes down 40%, you can buy your same amount of supply for 40% discount. You've still got the conviction. You still believe Altcoin is going to go very higher. But now you can actually buy even more supply because people are going to sell you their coins for cheap because they probably bought the high and are now selling at a loss. That's the beautiful thing about markets. If you can be patient and non-objective, you definitely can have tremendous success in this market, right? Same thing with Bonk. Bonk, guys, I said inside the trenches, live on stream, 0.618, broke the downtrend. Next target is a 2618. We have never broke that 2618, guys. We did not break that 2618, okay? That was the resistance of this level right here. Since then, Bonkers came down 26%. I think the lows was like all-time high to lows, almost 40%. If you still had conviction in Bonk, long term, you think, okay, I think Bonk's going to do well, you know, Tom Solport's, you believe in Tom Solport, etc., right? Then you would be able to buy for a 40% discount from people, right? So that's why I really like being objective, setting clear TP levels for larger spot positions. And you guys will find, especially those you guys are just locked in the trenches, you got no money, and you're just like 0.1 soul, right? Guys, I've been there. I used to have 5 jobs, no money, right? One thing I wish somebody told me, slow and steady wins the fucking race, mate, right? Just get good at this stuff, and long term it's going to help you, because when the bear market eventually comes, you're going to be in short positions. You're going to understand where the specific resistance levels are. Somebody said 117k. Oh my gosh. Wow. 117k for BTC. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Let's get the party started. Yeah, BTC. So fuck, I spoke all the time about this shit. Didn't say my targets for BTC for today. BTC targets, 165k. 165k targets for Bitcoin. I do think that that is the logical next step for Bitcoin. In my personal opinion, I do think that's going to be fairly soon. And the top for Bitcoin is going to be in September. September to November. This area is probably going to be the top, meaning price action, you can expect it to chop all the way like this. Bish, bash, bosh, dosh, bear market, right? And that doesn't mean that's going to be the end of the cycle, because we have Ethereum, which has been lagging behind drastically. So we could see something very special here, which is, wow, Ethereum's going for it, chat. Ethereum is absolutely going for it, right? And it looks like ETH is lagging, right? It looks like ETH is lagging and it wants to put in high highs, higher lows, like the old days. I don't know. Let me know in the comments who was around for the early days of ETH when ETH first started rallying over here. These rallies from 200 to 400 to 3,000. This is a 10x on Ethereum, right? Or 20x on the actually bottom on ETH. Certain niggas made like 20 M's on this shit, bro. On ETH. You could have been in a 5x leverage trade on ETH, bro. Insane, right? I'm not saying that we're going to see that level of move again, but it's highly likely we could see 13,000 for ETH, right? And short-term target of about 6,000. It's highly likely, guys, right? More than some people may think, right? And I know a lot of people are like, okay, meme coins. I'm also very bullish on meme coins. But what I also understand is this is supposed to be fun. And it's not the area where there's a lot of rich niggas, right? The rich niggas are on leverage. They're in large spot positions, okay? That's where they're at. This is where the rich people are, okay? So if you want to have success, just like I say, surround yourself with the right people. You also have to position yourself in the right way, right? And if you know this skill, the skill of the markets, you'll always have success. And that's kind of what I've been doing, balancing it out. I might get wrecked in the trenches, make money on Lev, get wrecked on Lev, make money in the trenches. Like, it's literally balancing out. Just before I hit the Trump play, I got absolutely toasted on leverage back over here when all the memes were pumping. So it's a crazy story, guys. We was in Dogecoin, and Doge was up here, and the consensus was for Doge, if we clear this chart, the consensus for Doge was, okay, Doge is going to $1. And I was all down for this consensus. I had about $400,000 in Doge, okay, which I bought like down here for like 200,000. Okay, and the consensus was, okay, Doge to $1. And then we didn't reach $1. Okay, we broke back down from this resistance level right here, and it was down only ever since. But not just down only, it was the dirtiest leverage scam chop, whatever you want to call it, that we've ever seen. We had huge collapses. This is in December, by the way, Christmas time. 40% collapse for Doge, followed by 60% rise for Doge, followed by down only. And during this time, it's fucking Christmas. I'm out with my family. I'm with my shit. I'm like, right, gotta go. I'm looking at my position, it's fucking collapsing. I'm saying, oh my God, not today. Up till like 6 a.m. holding these positions open. And worse than that, I had leverage positions open as well, right? And it got cooked. And then I think around about here, Trump launches and makes us all rich again, right? So that's why I like to be balanced, right? That's why I like to be balanced. And it's something that you should explore whenever trading. A lot of the whales, like when you're talking about the whales that are multi 7 figs, 8 figures, right? These guys, maybe even 9. Those guys, they spread across different things. They do this. They might fuck about a little bit in some trenches. They might fuck about with some leverage. They got spot positions too. They got this, they got that, right? They got shit going on. And you, even though you might just be starting out, it's important for you to learn because it allows you to prepare for when you get there too. So, a good question, right? So Dogecoin, do I think Dogecoin will actually reach $1 again? I think if we go into the parabolic bull market, yeah, it will get pulled up. But I do think there's much better risk to return trades than there are for like Doge. Doge is like a degen long that you'd put on if you're going to put on like loads of trades. Like better risk to reward is obviously pump. Better risk to reward will be something like Altcoin, for example. Even useless as well. Probably a better risk to reward. It's up 16% today. So a lot of people, again, they're probably going to count out useless, but that's just because it's out the lows. You never hear anybody preaching for the rooftops unless it's me on pump that want. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Unless it's me on a pump, obviously. You're not going to hear people preaching useless here. Everyone and their dog is going to be preaching useless up here. So I always say long things that are undervalued, right? But long things with right fundamentals. ALK, actually might just get rid of ALK off my watch list. There's no point. I don't know how this chart's recovered, but there's no point. Giga's good, you know, because Giga's in the SPX eco. You got things like FWOG, Boot, Popcat's good, you know. I don't think Peanut's that good. Peanut, they might make Peanut like a little Dogecoin and just scam pump it. Vine might be good. Vine's hella volatile as well. Launchcoin, even though I hate Launchcoin, I hate these vibe coding devs. Just gives me, you know, private sale PTSD. Might be okay as well, right? So that's it for the market update, right? Those are the type of things that I'm looking at. That's my thoughts on the market. Let's do some Q&A. Is there any charts you? Oh fuck, we have to look at this chart. We have to look at this chart. Okay, this is the chart of the day, boys. Okay, we have to look at Uranus. Okay, this is the chart of the day. What do I say? Beautiful fucking chart, right? So firstly, for the Uranus chart, it has been painted very, very well. This has gone from, you know, just another meme to something which could be quite big. This could be something big. This could be a useless, for example. This could be a troll, for example. It has all the right things fundamentally to do so. Technically, it is also looking like that too. You can see we spent about a month in this range, 21 days, and then we broke out and did about 300% to all-time high, 380% to all-time high. Okay, that's, you know, 200 grand to 800 grand, $1,000 to 3,000 or $4,000, 10 grand to 40 grand, etc. Right? Great trade. Okay, and as I mentioned, right, it's probably one of the things which I'm learning. Got to take profit at these levels, right? Got to take profit at these levels. That's what I should have done. Even I got very euphoric. You can see it came down 50% since. Now, this is what I'll always say with your size plays. Whether you're in troll, whether you're in useless, whether you're in Altcoin, whatever. It's probably always good to have these clear take profit levels. So when you actually take profit, you can snag the bag up for 50% discount, right? Get more tokens. Okay, that's one of the things which I'm really going to start implementing into my game, right? Now, we see that we're now in another range. So just as we was in this range, right, we're now in this range, okay? Here to here. Now, I expect us to probably be in here, although it doesn't make me happy, probably for another 21 days. I wouldn't be surprised to see us be in this range for a little bit longer, right? Just as on the short-term time frame, a lot of people, including myself, probably going to be drawing lines like this, saying, right, we've broken out. It's probably just not going to be the case. More so than likely, for the Uranus chart, we're going to be in a larger range. I would prefer us to simply blast off. Me more than anybody, I would like this chart just to go up and towards the right. It would make me a very, very happy, a very rich man, okay? I'll be straight back to the jewelers to buy a meteorite dial, fucking Daytona or some shit, bro. Ecstatic, feeling like an absolute champ, right? But I have to be prepared for the fact that we could go up, down, even all the way fucking down, whatever in this range till we actually break out. Now, when we break out, not if but when, I do think that is the when situation, okay? When we finally break out, my target is going to be this range between $1 and $1.50. I feel like when we get to $1, it's going to be very euphoric and we will have some sell pressure. But just like when Troll broke out, control hit 100 mil, 300 mil, the 300 mil is not that far away. It all depends on the buy pressure. So if we see a lot of buy pressure coming in at these levels, expect us to actually maybe peep through it before coming back down again, maybe all the way back down 50% again. Okay, so yeah, very bullish on the Uranus token. Now, I'm not going to be buying, I'll be completely transparent with you guys, any Jupiter tokens at the lows here until I see which ones have motion. And this is for me because I'm trading with larger capital. Like you can sweep them at a discount, okay? But for me, I'm not going to be buying any of them until I see which tokens have got motion once we break here, or once we're maybe in this range, but between here and all-time high. Because over here is when you know which tokens are going to be the ones to pick, right? In these like ranges, here, even here, the winners will reveal themselves. And there might even be new tokens that drop, like a Bubbles, for example, which is a newer token, right? Let's put a little arrow on there. Nice, right? So that's my thoughts on Uranus.
Cheia de tesão, eu vou te fuder com amor. Menina linda, safadinha, arregaça esse povo.